It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Kyle Benedict as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives in Yavapai County. And now here's today's Countywide.
Welcome to Countywide. I'm Kyle Benedict. Today we're welcoming in Yavapai County Supervisor Randy Garrison. He's the supervisor for District 3, so I want to welcome him into the studio. And first off, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Good morning. I imagine it's been pretty busy, right? Pretty hectic.
It's been overwhelming, yes, sir.
Well, we're happy to have you here in studio. And I guess first off, just to start things off here, tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of your history and background. I know you have a history here in the area.
Yeah, I'm my wife Debbie and I have been married about 33 years. We have a 19-year-old daughter that lives with us still, and we grew up here, we're raised here, fifth generation Verde Valley, not just Yavapai County, but Verde Valley. My ancestors came here in the 1870s, and they were on their way from Nevada to southern Arizona and came over the Mingus Range and decided this was home and put down roots, and we've been here ever since. And so really have a love and appreciation of the area, and the family's always been part of what goes on here. Never really considered myself a politician, still don't. My grandfather my grandparents were really very active in the community. My grandfather was a supervisor back in the 50s. And then my dad was mayor of Cottonwood a couple times and served on council for about 12 years. And then I've served for about 15 years on some elected capacity, whether it's Mingus Union or Cottonwood Oak Creek or City of Cottonwood, and now here with the county. So we've always had an appreciation for the community and for being part of what happens. And so that's the kind of atmosphere I was raised in, and what I decided to make my way of giving back and participating. So it's been rewarding. It's been a lot of fun. It's overwhelming, like I said, but I'm getting my feet under me and having a real great time and making some great connections, so I think it'll be good.
Yeah, I mean, I have to imagine, obviously not being in your position, but the background that you have and your family has here in this community has to really kind of set you aside from different people who have been in this community, or people who, I guess, are in a position of power like you. You have to have that appreciation for this community, and I think you have a unique vantage point in kind of just being here forever. How do you think that has kind of shaped you and maybe pushed you into this position that you are at now?
Yeah, it's and I hate hearing power. You know, it's not about power, and people think, oh, you know. Anyway, they have their perceptions, and to me, it's all about community service, and like I said, I was raised in it. You know, my whole experience here growing up was being part of what happened, what went on, and so it shapes you. It I think lets you see things a little differently, and also lets you understand just how much you as an individual can make a difference in your community, and perpetuate, you know, the good things that happen, and also have a hand in changing those things you don't like and think are not good, and give you the ability to be part of turning those around and helping people. So to me, it's very rewarding. I'm really humbled by the support I got during the election. It was a long, hard campaign, and we were out there for a solid year. And walking down streets, knocking on doors, we hit about 2,500 homes over the last year, and got to talk to a lot of great people, a lot of people that had been here for a long time. Most of the people hadn't been here that long, and hear their concerns and hear their love for the community and their community specifically, and so that keeps you going. It makes it worthwhile. And that's another thing I learned over the campaign is, you know, you grow up here and you know that you live in an area that's diverse and has its different little communities, and they each have a different personality. And you also know that you live in a very large area, and we're a very large state. But until you really get out and start walking the area, you just don't realize how big of an area this is, and also how extremely different our communities are. Each one has a very unique voice. And my district, I think I've got the best job of all of the supervisors, because my district takes in so much. And we have 2 of the 5 hottest places in Arizona to come for tourism and for people to see. We have such a rich history right here in the Verde Valley. It's just neat to be part of being part of that and being able to go out and represent those different communities.
Yeah.
So
Speaking of that district, can you kind of describe some of the communities in your district for people who maybe aren't?
So District 3. District 3, the county used to have 3 districts, and about 5 years ago, they split that up and created 5 districts because our population was growing. And so District 3 starts basically at the top of Mingus Mountain, takes in Perkinsville, and goes all the way up to the Coconino County line, and then comes down, takes in Jerome and Clarkdale, Cottonwood, the Verde Villages, Bridgeport, Verde Santa Fe, and then kind of dodges around the backside of Cornville and Page Springs, and then takes in Sedona and Village of Oak Creek.
Wow.
And so that's my district. It's not very big, but it's very diverse and a lot of resources, a lot of unique topography, unique environments, and it's a great place. It's really fun.
Yeah, it's a rural community. I think part of the state, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. It's part of the state, but you mentioned there's a lot of people who have been here for years and spent lifetimes here in the Verde Valley or maybe in the Sedona area or just in the central part of Arizona, right? But this area is also, you mentioned you have Sedona, you have a good portion of the Verde Valley, Cottonwood, 2 really big cities within this part of the state. And you look at tourism and all of the tourists that come here annually. I imagine there's certain challenges within this district that maybe other districts, those challenges maybe aren't as great as you have here in District 3, maybe with the tourism, right?
Yeah, tourism is obviously huge. Jerome lives on tourism, Sedona lives on tourism. Sedona, when I was out and about and campaigning, you'd say, what are your issues? What are you concerned about? And the number one thing that people were concerned about was traffic, the roads, how are we going to get around? And number 2 was probably water and the environment. How are we going to continue to be under this type of a growth and also this type of an impact from tourism and still keep our resources, whether it's open land or water. And so you learn. Well, one thing you learn, government, nothing happens fast, but you really have to start paying attention and planning for the future. And Sedona, they've done tons of road studies, but it seems like one of the factors that's always missing from their studies in the past, and I think they were doing a really good job this time of looking a little harder, is the impact of tourism. There's 10,000, 11,000 people that live in the city of Sedona, yet they're impacted by 20,000 visitors a day. So you're planning your roads thinking we've got an issue just getting people back and forth from their home to their work and to the store, but we also have the visitors who are coming in and just overwhelming the system that we have currently. And we have a very diverse topography here, and all the easy locations for roads have been taken, and so it's going to be a challenge, not only dealing with the people that live here and continue to live here and want to be here and raise their families and make businesses and work here, but also the people that just swarm into our valley and come here to learn about our history and also enjoy our environment, the river and the outdoors and the open space.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we got to take our first break already. When we get back from break, after a quick 2-minute break, we'll talk about some of the other issues that that Supervisor Garrison heard from voters out there on the campaign trail. He mentioned traffic, water, the environment, some of those issues. Yavapai.us, good place for more information. Also 928-639-8110. This is Countywide. We'll be back in a couple minutes.
Take a look under your bed. find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your closet. Still no jobs? Just more stuff? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed. And they're the stuff inside your stuff. Our job is to unlock those jobs. And it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Me and my boy Matt had it good. He had catnip that was off the hook. But one day, he brings a girl home, and she's allergic to cats. Every sneeze was a nail in my coffin. Now I'm in a shelter. It's decent, but they don't even have Wi-Fi.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to Countywide. I'm Kyle Benedict, sitting down in studio with Yavapai County Supervisor Randy Garrison, Supervisor for District 3. We were talking about the district, some of the issues. Of course, Supervisor Garrison told us about himself and how he has, him and his family, a long history here in the area. You mentioned some of the issues that you heard from voters out there while you were campaigning. What are traffic, I believe you mentioned, water. What are some of the other ones there?
Yeah, that's mostly
Yeah.
traffic. You know, everybody wants their road paved, wants to know when their road's going to be paved, wants to get someplace faster. You know, like I said, we're overwhelmed with tourism, and it really creates an impact for getting around our community. So that was it. You know, there also is you know, we live in a beautiful place, and with the overwhelming number of people we have coming here to visit us, not only because of our open space, but because of our rich history, you know, it puts quite a strain on what we have. And so, you know, sat down with the monument people last week, SOAR, and had a talk with them, you know, about their concerns, and they're trying to figure out how to help us protect and keep our open space open. You know, a lot of we're 75% in this county, 75% public space. So that doesn't leave a lot of room for development. And every time the state goes under the threat of tightening budgets and they're looking for money, you always have to worry about, you know, the state or the feds selling off or trading out land. And because we're such a highly valued area, you know, the threat of having that happen here locally, you know, is pretty high. So, you know, we have a lot of very committed individuals out there trying to, you know, protect our rivers, protect our streams, protect our open space, and so that's a huge challenge, and nothing that's going to be done quickly. And you know, it has its, you know, you've got people that say, you know, we should grow and grow, and economic development's all about growth, but I think, you know, we can do a lot without growing. I think we've got a lot here, and we've got room for more people, but we're going to have to start being a little more conscientious about our space, and also the water, and how much we really have at the end of the day to be able to provide you know, the environment that we have now that people have come to love.
Yeah. And now, mentioning the several communities within your district, how do you plan on working with those communities and kind of being that I guess just helping them with what they need. I mean, we have different sizes of communities here in the Verde Valley. We have really tiny towns to up to big tourist cities. So how do you plan on dealing with those individual communities?
Yeah, it's we do. We have one of the largest communities I have right now is Verde Village. Believe it or not, they're about just shy of 13,000 people. Cottonwood's sitting at about 11,000. Sedona's about 11,000. You got Village of Oak Creek at about 5,000, 5,500, something like that, and Clarkdale about 6,000. And then you got Jerome at 400, and we had actually tried to buy a house up in Jerome about 20 years ago, and I was looking at the demographics and the projections for growth, and back then I would think it was 396 people, and 20 years later it's at 400, and I think 20 years from now it's projected to be at about 410.
410.
So they're an area that they have their challenges that lack of growth brings, and like I say, they're also heavily impacted by tourism. But every area is so unique and diverse. So one of the very first things I did when I got elected, on primary, basically the election was over, and on primary because there was only 2 candidates running. We were both running on the same ticket, and so when I won that election, I didn't really have to worry about the general. So I was able to hit the ground and start working on learning my area a little deeper, and also getting out and learning the other districts of the county. And so one of the very first things I did was start setting up meetings with the mayor and city manager from each of those communities. And the only ones I have left to date are the Yavapai Apache Nation, and I'm meeting with Jane Wienecke and hopefully some of her council this afternoon, actually this morning about 2 hours. And then I've got to meet with Camp Verde still, and Camp Verde's not in my district, but as far as I'm concerned, they're part of the Verde Valley, and we're all in this together. So, I went out, met with all the different mayors and managers, try and figure out what their concerns were, where they thought the county either was doing a great job and needed to continue, or what they thought we could do a little better, and what kind of support they needed, because that's one of the things that people don't understand. When you go to your city council, you can say, I want an ordinance for this, or I want a road here, or I want you to change the zoning and create a business here. But the county, we don't really do that. Over half of our budget goes into the courts and public safety and the sheriff's office, and then the rest of that goes to health department, our library district, and there's 17 departments, and roads is still a large portion of that, but unfortunately not the biggest part of our budget, and that's probably what people ask for the most. So it's all about creating connections and going out and learning what the communities need and putting them in contact with the resources to get done what they want to do and help their community. So I've this month has just been crazy. I had a chance just in this last week to sit down with Congressman O'Halloran, who's a local. He was just elected to his seat, a freshman in his term, so that was kind of neat, learning about his experience and how closely it matched up with my own. And being local, that's fantastic for us. He's going to be a great resource. He understands our issues, he understands our problems, and he's got his hand out there and able to start pushing some funding and some support our way. So I think it's going to be fantastic to have him serving us, and sat down with representatives from, unfortunately, the other side of the mountain. Our representatives here in Cottonwood, Sylvia Allen and Brenda Barton and Bob Thorpe, they were all snowed in. The weather's played havoc lately, right. But I did get to sit down with Karen Fan and Representatives Noel Campbell and David Springer. So it's Stringer. So it's been neat, getting to talk to people, and every one of those understand rural problems, rural needs, and are great advocates and work very hard to get out there and bring back those resources to our community. So that's really what I'm learning is this position isn't so much, what are you going to do about that barking dog, or my trash pickup, or my neighbor, but it's, what can you do to help us make our communities better places to live and raise our families. So that's what I'm doing, is getting out there trying to figure out those connections.
There you go. Great. Well, we got to take our second break. Again, for more information, yavapai.us, a good website. Phone number 928-639-8110. This is Countywide. We're going to take another break. Back in a couple minutes.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your closet. Still no jobs? Just more stuff? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed. And they're the stuff inside your stuff. Our job is to unlock those jobs. And it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Morning, Gary. We are GetSchooled.com. You want a college education, don't you?
You know you do.
That's why we're here. We're free and here to guide you through every step of the way, starting with attendance. Gary, financial aid forms. Picking a college, man. You and us. We go together like tacos and Tuesday.
And I love tacos. Go to GetSchooled.com.
Welcome back to Countywide. Just a couple minutes left in the show today. Sitting down with Yavapai County Supervisor Randy Garrison for District 3. We're talking about the district, some of the concerns that he heard from voters while he was out on the campaign trail. And for folks who might have other questions or concerns, in addition to yavapai.us or the phone number 639-8110, how can they get in touch with you, and what are you looking to hear from them?
Well, I'm just down the road here on the corner of 6th and Mingus in the heart of Cottonwood there, right next to the Military Service Park. So if you come in and go to the Military Service Park there at the Cottonwood Rec Center, the Cottonwood Library area in the park, Garrison Park right there, you can park, come in our front door. I'm upstairs. My door is always open. DeShannon Young is my partner, and we will be very active going out in the community, but our door is always open, and we would love to hear from you if you have any concerns, any issues, or you just want to learn how to become a better part of what happens and want to participate in making your community a better place to live. We'd love to hear from you.
Great, yeah. I think community participation during the last election cycle, we had a lot of people in here talking about the election and everything on the ballots and whatnot. But it seems like everyone was saying, you know, participation. It's so easy down there at the city and town level. I think people are starting to understand that really their voice really does matter, especially down at that local level. And as you mentioned, you're very accessible.
Yeah, we'll leave politics at the federal and state
Right.
level here. It's all about helping people. So anything we can do, just feel free to reach out, and we'll do whatever we can to help you.
Okay, perfect. Supervisor Garrison, thank you for being in today.
Thank you very much.
Again, yavapai.us for more information. A good phone number, 928-639-8110. That's going to do it for today's Countywide. We'll talk and see you next time.